just click out of this video if you can't handle like graphic things. Hello, YouTube. Okay, so it feels really weird to film again because I haven't filmed in maybe about 2 weeks because homegirl was hospitalized. Is it called hospitalized when you go to the hospital? Hospitalized? Or, you know the word hospitality always confuses me because it makes me think hospital. Okay, never mind. So today I just wanted to sit down and tell you guys why I was in the hospital and just like a little story on what happened because it was not okay. But anyway, I have a giveaway at the end of this video. There will be 2 winners and I'll have all the rules down below. It's I have these 2 goodie bags and each goodie bag has 7 makeup products in here. I got these at an event and I thought that it would be perfect for a giveaway, so I grabbed 2 of them for you guys. So yeah, I'll put all the rules down below for you to enter and there will be 2 winners. Okay, so where do I start with what even happened? Okay, so one morning I woke up. Wall woke me up. It was a beautiful day. So I woke up and then I was brushing my teeth, and while I was brushing my teeth, I felt like I had to take a shit. So I was like, oh, okay, it's one of those morning poos. Great. I actually really enjoy morning poops because I feel like it just starts my day off right. So I took a poop and it was one of those really easy going poops, okay? Like everything just came out very easily. It wasn't soft, but it wasn't really solid. It was the perfect poo, okay? So I went and then I had one more piece. This is so graphic. I had one more piece of poo that was in my butt and I felt the pressure and I knew that it had to come out, but for some reason I was having real trouble, girl. It was not coming out. I was pushing. I was like in this squat mode because I was trying to help the poop, like I was trying to angle my body. So have you guys ever heard of that, where if you angle your body where your knees are up like this, your asshole actually it just flows better, okay? So tip out there for you guys who have trouble pooping, if you get in like a squat mode or if you put something on the floor and you step on it to raise your knees up, it actually helps you poop. So just a little tip. I did that and that poop was not coming out and I knew that it was a hard poo. Have you ever had one of those poops where you're pooping and then everything in the beginning came out fine because that was like the leftover things that digested already, and then you ate and then there was like the new poop forming and that new poop is just not ready to come out yet? Well, that's what happened. So the poo wasn't coming out and I was really pushing and it got to the point where it was pain. Like, girl, I ain't never had a poo like this before. Okay, I've been constipated before, but I have never had such a painful poo, okay? It was so painful, I couldn't push it out. I felt it in my ass, like I felt that pressure behind my ass, like I knew it had to come out one way or the other. So I pooed so much to the point where I got really hungry and I felt like throwing up and I got nauseous. Like, girl, it was one of those moments where I was like, I'm pregnant, aren't I? So I called Wa and I told him to come over because I was dying. Okay, so he came over and when he came over, girl, it was embarrassing because I had like no pants on. I was on the floor because I was just in so much pain I didn't make it to the bed. It lasted for about 30 minutes. Like I was seriously in this dying pain for 30 minutes. That poo did not come out until like 3 hours later, but even after it came out, I still felt like a really bad pain. So at that point, I knew something was wrong. So I was at Wa's house. He drove me to his mom's house so his mom can take care of me, and because my mom was at work. So his mom like gave me all this Chinese remedy and stuff and it just wasn't working. I was in so much pain that I started crying and I was like, okay, this is bad. So I called my mom and I was like, Mom, please tell me I have health insurance. And she was like, yeah, it just passed because we just like applied for our health insurance and it just passed. So I have health insurance. I was like, okay, I'll just go to the doctor. And so my mom took me to the hospital and when I first got there, I was like, shit, because I hate going to the hospital because I know that they just somehow find ways to torture you, okay? I finally got in the room and it was like a man doctor. I'm like, ugh, I hate men doctor. I don't know why that is, but every time I have a man as a doctor, they are just very rough. Like I feel like they're not sensitive like how women are. The doctor like did all these tests. He was like squishing my stomach and stuff and I was crying in pain. It was so painful and he was just like, okay, I think you have appendicitis. So I'm like, so what? If I had appendicitis, that means that I will have to have surgery that night. So girl, at this point, I was crying, okay? I was crying because I was like, okay, if I can't even handle a needle, how is a sister gonna handle surgery? Okay. They finally came and injected me with like morphine because I was just in so much pain. They injected me with morphine and now I see why people use morphine as drugs. Okay, I've always heard people using morphine as drugs, and I've always wondered what it was. So anyway, so when the nurse said that she had to inject me with morphine, I was like, that sounds really bad. And she was just saying like, well, this is gonna take your pain away. So at this point I was like, okay. She gave me the morphine, and immediately, girl, I was shivering, I was shaking, and I was like, why do people do these for drugs? So after that, the doctor finally came back, and he told me that I tested negative for appendicitis. So I'm like, hallelujah. And he was like, oh, by the way, I have to leave right now. My shift is over, so you're gonna have another doctor. He's a great doctor, whatever. So I'm like, okay. So then the next doctor that comes in, oh girl, just me thinking of him just makes me want to punch the shit out of him. He was really rude. He had this attitude where he was like, oh, I'm so fed up with my job and stuff. So he just had this really bad attitude, but my energy at that point was just dead, okay? I was like drugged up and I was in so much pain. The morphine didn't do much for me, and they offered to give me more morphine, but I didn't want it because I just felt like I don't want any drugs in my body, as less as possible when it comes to drugs. I really don't want drugs in my body. So that doctor, he basically said, okay, well, you tested negative for appendicitis, so now I'm gonna have to do like a pelvis exam on you. And girl, the sound of pelvis exam sounds okay, but what it really is, it's basically a screening of your vajayjay, okay? He told me I need to have that exam, and then I found out that he's the doctor that has to do the exam, which means this man is gonna look at my vagina, and I just felt really uncomfortable. Okay, I know it's just a doctor and I shouldn't see it that way, that like, oh, he's a man, but like, I just felt really uncomfortable, okay? Like, I'm very, very conservative. I was really uncomfortable. I was like, oh my God, like, I don't want to do this. I was telling the girl nurse, I'm like, I don't want to do this, but she was saying how, I'm sorry, this is the only doctor here, and while you're in the ER, we need to figure out what is wrong. So that doctor came in, and just click out of this video if you can't handle like graphic things. Okay, so basically what happened was he came in, he stuck this thing into, he like lubricated my vaginal area, and then he like stuck this little scope thing inside, and it was like tongs, okay? So it went in, and then it opened my vajayjay, and then they had to stick like a cotton swab in there to get like a sample of my white stuff. They had to do that because they have to go and test whatever. So then at this point I'm like, oh my God, like, can this doctor stop touching me already? Like, get away. And then he was like, oh, okay, so just 2 fingers here. And I'm like, 2 fingers? And I didn't know what he meant at first by 2 fingers. I thought he was just gonna like touch the area of my vagina to see if there was some kind of infection, or he was gonna like clean me up or something. I don't know. So before I even had time to process this, girl, he shoved his 2 fingers into my vagina. And I felt very, very violated. Like, I completely understand that he's a doctor and like I shouldn't see it that way, but still I was like, oh my God, like, this man just fingered me. Oh, the worst part was that he was like, oh, when he fingered me, he like shook, like okay, so this is homegirl's vagina. He put his hand in here and he shook it. He shook my vagina like this. And of course, homegirl, like, I was already having lower abdominal pains. Oh yeah, that was the reason why I went in, by the way. So I was already having pain in my stomach. If you shake my stomach, it's gonna hurt. Okay. So I was like, ow, that hurts. And he told me like, oh yeah, I'm pretty sure I know what is going on with you. So I'm like, oh, what is it? And he said, I think you have an STD. And I'm like, an STD? I was like, I got tested before. I do not have an STD. So he was like saying, oh, well, when was the last time I got tested? And the last time I got tested was about a year ago. And he was like, okay, well, yeah, do you have a partner? And I was like, yeah. And then he said, this part, I just wanted to sock the shit out of this doctor, because I just feel like as a doctor you should never assume anything, but this is exactly what he said. He was like, okay, well, I don't want you to jump to any conclusions, but I just want to tell you that sometimes things may happen. I'm not saying that it's 100% true, but there could be a possibility that your partner is sleeping with somebody else. And I'm like, what? Like, I just feel like as a doctor, you should never say anything like that. And plus, you should not even diagnose something so stupidly. Like, how are you gonna tell me I have an STD just because you fingered me and you shook my vagina and it hurt? You know, like, what? That just sounded so stupid to me. So I was like, no. It's not possible for me to have an STD. I was like, me and my partner, we're both good. And I was like, and there's no way that he could have cheated, whatever. And he was just like, I'm really sorry. And then the nurse comes up to me and said, I'm sorry, honey. I'm like, these two? these two bitches just basically told me that I had an unfaithful boyfriend. And I'm like, who are you to say that? You're a doctor, you're here to diagnose. But then he was saying how like, oh yeah, I don't want you to jump to conclusions, but I'm pretty sure that your boyfriend is cheating on you. I'm like, what the fuck? So that was pretty much the story at the hospital. I went home, I was still in pain, they gave me medication, and they gave me antibiotics and stuff. And then when I left, he told me like, oh yeah, by the way, you're gonna get your test in like 2 to 3 days to let you know if you have an STD, whatever. And like, I was just so annoyed because I felt like I came into emergency. You didn't really properly diagnose what was really wrong with me. Instead, you were just really unprofessional. Like, he was just like, oh yeah, according to my experience, I'm sure you have an STD. And he was like, it's not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure with your symptoms, I'm sure you have an STD. As a doctor, you should never assume anything. You should really wait until the tests come in. I mean, you can give me an opinion. You can say there's a possibility, but there could be a possibility that it's something else. And if it's something else, we'll do further testing. You know what I mean? So anyway, I went home. The doctors did not call me back at all. I had to call them, and homegirl found out that I am STD free. Okay, so now you know Weylie is STD free. As far as why I was in so much pain, I don't even know. So I'm gonna have to go to a different doctor. Hopefully it's a woman this time. I'll let you guys know whatever happens. Make sure you follow me on my vlog channel right here. And I will do, one, I actually trying to do more daily vlogs. Not daily, but like more frequent vlogs. So most likely if I do go to the doctor, I'll let you guys know all the updates on my Weylie TV channel. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So my recovery took about 2 days. Now I'm like 100% good again. And yeah, I really don't know why that could possibly be that I was in pain. So yeah. Anyway, that was a really long video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I just wanted to give you guys an update, and hopefully this video was somewhat fun to watch. Okay, so yeah, that's it. Make sure you enter my giveaway for these 2 goodie bags, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!